You know that gut-wrenching moment? That feeling when the ground beneath you doesn't just shift, it completely collapses? Imagine experiencing that on your birthday, alone, in a place that used to hold cherished memories. It's a moment that rips through the fabric of your perceived reality, leaving you to question everything you thought you knew. And yet, sometimes, these very moments of profound betrayal can become the most potent catalysts for extraordinary transformation. This isn't just a story about a woman wronged. It's a deep dive into the silent battles we fight, the insidious ways trust is eroded, and the incredible strength that lies within us to reclaim our lives, even when they feel irrevocably shattered. Our journey begins with Zara, a woman who, on her 32nd birthday, found herself dining solo at Romano's, an upscale Italian restaurant. This wasn't just any restaurant, it was their place, a symbol of shared anniversaries and quiet date nights with Derek, her husband of 7 years. But tonight Derek was too busy with work. He'd given her an absent kiss and a casual dismissal. "Take yourself somewhere nice, baby. I'll make it up to you this weekend." Those words, seemingly innocuous, now hung in the air, weighted with a chilling irony. Zara had meticulously prepared for this solitary celebration. Her favorite black dress, styled hair, grandmother's pearl earrings, all for an audience of one. The quiet elegance of the evening was meant to be a balm, a small act of self-care amidst the growing distance she felt from Derek. Little did she know, this carefully constructed piece was about to shatter. The tremor in her fork wasn't just from nerves, it was the prelude to an earthquake. A young waitress, Na, leaned in, her voice a barely audible whisper, yet her words hit Zara with the force of a physical blow. "Ma'am, please keep eating and do not look at the table next to you. Trust me on this." The suddenness, the urgency, the sheer peculiarity of the request instantly raised every alarm bell in Zara's mind. Her heart began to race. What could possibly warrant such a plea? Every instinct screamed at her to turn, to see, to understand. But Na's genuine concern, the fear in her eyes, held Zara captive. "What do you mean?" Zara whispered back, her voice barely steady. Na's glance towards a secluded corner of the restaurant, combined with her next words, painted a picture of devastating clarity. "I served that table earlier. The man, he looks just like the guy in the photo on your phone case, and he's with another woman. They're very close." Zara's world didn't just tilt, it spun wildly off its axis. The man who looked exactly like her husband in the cherished anniversary photo on her phone case, the man she had just ironed a shirt for that very morning, was here, celebrating with another woman. This wasn't a mistaken identity. It was a cruel, undeniable truth being laid bare. The immediate aftermath of such a revelation is a bewildering mix of emotions. Disbelief fights with a sickening certainty, anger with profound sadness, and a desperate need for confirmation clashes with a paralyzing fear of what that confirmation might reveal. Zara, however, possessed a quiet strength. When Na, her voice heavy with apology, confirmed her suspicions. "I'm sorry. I couldn't let you sit here not knowing. I have sisters. I would want someone to tell them." Zara's initial shock slowly began to transmute into something far more dangerous. A cold, calculated resolve. The pasta, once a source of comfort, now tasted like ash. The tiramisu, her birthday treat, sat untouched, a cruel mockery of the celebration she had envisioned. "How long have they been here?" she asked, her voice betraying none of the turmoil raging within. "About an hour," Na replied. "They ordered champagne first thing. Expensive stuff. He told me they were celebrating their anniversary." Anniversary. The word resonated with a brutal force, echoing the celebration Derek claimed he was too busy for just last year. This wasn't just a casual fling, it was a deep, sustained betrayal, a parallel life he was living, funded by their shared resources, while she sat alone on her birthday. The details that followed solidified the image. blonde, young, mid-20s, a red dress, constantly touching his hand, laughing loudly. Brittany, Derek's secretary. Zara had met her once, a beautiful woman with an obvious way that had registered a flicker of unease even then. That familiar feeling, that subtle intuition many of us ignore, was now screaming its validation. Na's next words confirmed the depth of the deception. They know each other well. This isn't their first time here together. Roberto, our manager, he remembers them from last month. Same table, same champagne. Last month. The timeline clicked into place. The late nights, the emotional distance, the constant phone scrolling, the absence of his touch. It wasn't just recent, it was a pattern. A meticulously constructed facade that had been crumbling around her for months without her full awareness. In such moments, the natural human reaction might be to crumble, to cry, to make a scene. But Zara, in her profound hurt, found a different kind of strength. "I'm fine," she declared, her voice stronger than she felt. "Can you do me a favor?" This was not a plea for sympathy. It was a demand for agency. She needed confirmation, visual proof, not for confrontation, but for understanding, for a path forward. Na's reluctant nod confirmed the intimacy. Kissing, a jewelry box, small, looks expensive. Happy tears. Derek hadn't bought Zara jewelry in years, offering a mall gift card instead. Pick out something you like. You know your taste better than I do. The casual cruelty of that statement in light of his extravagant gift to Brittany was a fresh wound. He knew Brittany's taste just fine. The camera on her phone became her weapon. Snapping blind photos, she whispered, "I need to see my husband with his mistress. I need to see what 7 years of marriage means to him." And there he was, Derek, in the blue shirt she had ironed, holding hands with Brittany across a table adorned with rose petals. The way he looked at her, the way he used to look at Zara, was a gut punch. Brittany wore diamonds, not just any diamonds, but her diamonds, paid for with their money. They looked happy, in love, exactly as Zara and Derek once had. This wasn't a reality TV show moment. It was the quiet devastation of a life unraveling. But Zara didn't make a scene. She didn't give them the satisfaction of seeing her broken. Instead, a decision formed in her mind, cold and precise. "Miss," she called Na over, "I'd like to pay my bill." And with a genuine smile that blossomed from a newfound sense of purpose, she declared, "You know what? I think I'm going to be better than okay." She left a generous tip, a silent acknowledgement of Na's unexpected kindness, and walked out of Romano's with her head held high. Neither Derek nor Brittany noticed her. They were too absorbed in their twisted anniversary celebration. But Zara saw everything, and she would remember everything. "Happy birthday to me," she thought as she stepped into the cool evening air. "Time to give myself the gift of a new life." This moment of silent departure is crucial. It represents the psychological pivot from victimhood to empowerment. Many people, when faced with such a profound betrayal, might react impulsively, driven by emotion. They might confront, scream, cry, or collapse. While these are entirely valid human reactions, Zara's response demonstrated a different kind of strength, the ability to process overwhelming pain and channel it into strategic action. This isn't about suppressing emotion, but about directing it, using the energy of betrayal as fuel for change. It's a powerful lesson in self-preservation and strategic thinking during a crisis. Consider for a moment the waitress, Na. Her act of whispering a warning to a complete stranger wasn't just a kind gesture, it was an ethical stand. In a world where many might choose to ignore uncomfortable truths, Na chose empathy. She risked her job, her comfort, to prevent a fellow woman from enduring humiliation. This highlights a subtle but profound aspect of human connection, the ripple effect of small acts of kindness. How many times do we see something amiss, sense injustice, but choose not to intervene? Na's bravery underscores the importance of a moral compass, even in seemingly mundane situations. She understood that some truths, however painful, are necessary to know, and that women often stand to lose more in situations of infidelity. Zara didn't go home immediately. Instead, she sat in her car, meticulously examining the photos she had taken. Her hands, once trembling, were now steady. Her mind, once reeling, was now crystal clear. The images were perfect evidence. Derek and Brittany holding hands, kissing fingers, Brittany showing off the diamond necklace. All of it screamed comfortable and familiar. And then a chilling detail. Brittany's engagement ring was gone. Married to some guy named Paul, she too was living a double life. Derek, however, still wore his wedding ring. What a thoughtful cheater, Zara thought, her sarcasm a thin shield against the deeper hurt. This detail exposed another layer of Derek's character, not just a cheater, but a coward, unwilling to fully commit to his deception, or perhaps unwilling to let go of the comforts of his marital facade. She drove not home, but to a 24-hour coffee shop, seeking a quiet corner to think, to plan, to process. This solitary act of strategic retreat is often the first step in reclaiming agency. Instead of lashing out, Zara chose introspection and preparation. She ordered a large coffee, the caffeine a necessary stimulant for the arduous task ahead. Her first move was to open her banking app. The joint checking account confirmed her worst fears, a $247 charge to Romano's 2 hours ago. Expensive champagne indeed. Scrolling further, a horrifying pattern emerged. Romano's charges every few weeks for the past 6 months. Jewelry store purchases, hotel bookings she knew nothing about, lingerie, flower shops. Her husband had been using their money she helped earn to fund his affair. This wasn't just cheating, it was theft. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was financial. And this realization shifted Zara's anger from a hot, impulsive rage to a cold, dangerous fury. The difference is crucial. Hot rage can lead to impulsive, self-destructive acts. Cold fury, however, is channeled, focused, and devastatingly effective. It's the kind of anger that fuels meticulous planning and unwavering execution. Zara didn't want to burn everything down. She wanted to systematically dismantle Derek's comfortable deception. She opened her laptop and began documenting everything: screenshots of bank statements, the incriminating photos. She created a folder named Business Expenses, a clever camouflage for files that would ultimately dismantle Derek's life. This act of methodical documentation is paramount in any legal battle, especially divorce. It highlights a critical lesson for anyone in a relationship. Understand your shared finances, maintain awareness of accounts, and never be afraid to question anomalies. Financial literacy is not just about growing wealth, it's about protecting yourself from exploitation. Next, she researched divorce lawyers, focusing on those specializing in high-asset divorces and financial misconduct. She wasn't ready to call yet, but she was preparing her arsenal. The phone buzzed. A text from Derek. "Working late again tonight, don't wait up." The irony was almost comical. He was probably heading to Brittany's. Zara's response was a masterstroke of controlled communication. "Okay, had a lovely birthday dinner. Thank you for suggesting Romano's." She wasn't lying. It had been educational. Derek, oblivious, responded immediately. "Glad you enjoyed it. See you tomorrow." This exchange perfectly encapsulates the dynamic of gaslighting and deception in an affair. One party is living a lie, the other is unknowingly, or in Zara's case, knowingly playing along, biding their time. Zara spent the next 3 hours immersed in legal research, her rights, hidden assets, financial protection during divorce. She took notes in a small, hidden notebook. When she finally arrived home at midnight, Derek's car was absent. The house felt different, cold, unwelcoming. The shared living room, their wedding photos, the carefully chosen throw pillows, all felt like a lie. She looked at their king-sized bed, imagining the countless nights Derek had come home from Brittany, slipping into bed beside her, perhaps kissing her goodnight, while thinking of another woman. This psychological torment is a profound aspect of betrayal, the erosion of shared history and intimate trust. Unable to sleep, Zara returned to her laptop. She delved deeper into Derek's business, public records, their financial situation. What she uncovered was alarming. Credit cards taken out in their joint name without her knowledge, undisclosed investments, money being moved between accounts in ways that made no sense. This wasn't just carelessness, it was calculated. Derek was either financially illiterate or, more likely, actively hiding assets. Given her recent discoveries, the latter seemed undeniable. At 3 a.m., Derek's car pulled into the driveway. Zara quickly closed her laptop and feigned sleep. He crept into the bedroom, slipping into bed without showering. The faint scent of another woman's perfume on him was a cruel testament to his evening. "Zara," he whispered softly. She remained still, her breathing deep and even. "Happy birthday, baby," he said, kissing her forehead. The casual cruelty of his belated, tainted birthday wish after spending the evening with his mistress was almost unbearable. But Zara didn't move, didn't react. She lay there in the dark, listening to Derek fall asleep beside her, planning her next moves. Tomorrow she would begin building her case, document everything, protect her assets, and reclaim her life. Derek had made his choice. Now Zara would make hers. She smiled in the darkness. He thought she was naive, unsuspecting. He had no idea he was dealing with a brilliant woman with an MBA, someone who had helped him build his company from the ground up, someone who understood financial statements, research, and complex project execution. His biggest mistake was underestimating his wife. This phase of silent preparation is a masterclass in strategic resilience. It highlights several critical lessons. 1. Trust your gut. That initial unease Zara felt about Brittany, the growing distance from Derek, these were early warning signs. We often rationalize them away, but our intuition often picks up on discrepancies before our conscious mind does. 2. Financial vigilance. Zara's ability to dive into bank statements and uncover patterns is a powerful reminder for everyone to be engaged in their household finances, especially in joint accounts. Don't delegate all financial responsibility, as it can be an avenue for exploitation. 3. The power of documentation. In any dispute, especially legal ones, evidence is paramount. Zara's methodical approach to gathering screenshots, photos, and notes was her strongest asset. This isn't about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. 4. Strategic restraint. While an emotional outburst might feel cathartic, it rarely serves one's long-term interests in such situations. Zara's ability to maintain composure, even when facing such profound betrayal, allowed her to gather irrefutable evidence and plan effectively. This requires immense emotional discipline. Consider the real-life parallels. We often hear stories of individuals who, after years of a seemingly stable relationship, discover a spouse's hidden life. A common thread in successful recoveries is the shift from emotional reaction to strategic action. Take, for example, Sarah, a woman who discovered her husband of 15 years had been secretly gambling away their savings. Her first instinct was to confront him immediately, but a friend advised her to first gather all financial statements, credit card bills, and loan documents. This calm, methodical approach, much like Zara's, allowed her to present an airtight case to her attorney, protecting what remained of their assets and ensuring a more favorable divorce settlement. Had she confronted him first, he might have had time to hide more. 3 days after her birthday revelation, Zara sat across from Tony Rodriguez, a private investigator with 2 decades of experience. His office, small but professional, exuded a no-nonsense confidence. "I need to know everything," Zara stated, sliding a check across his desk. "How long it's been going on, where they meet, what they do together, who else knows about it." Tony, a middle-aged Hispanic man with kind eyes, had heard this story many times. His gentle warning, "Sometimes people think they want to know everything, but the details can be more painful than the basic fact of an affair," was met with Zara's firm resolve. "I understand, but I need evidence, legal evidence that will hold up in court, and I need to know about our finances. I think he's been hiding money." Tony's impressed response, "You've done excellent work already. Most people come to me with just suspicions and hurt feelings. You've got documentation and evidence," validated Zara's painstaking efforts. Her explanation, "I used to help run my husband's business. I know how to research and organize information," served as a subtle reminder of the formidable intellect Derek had carelessly underestimated. Tony outlined his services: surveillance, background checks, financial investigation, evidence gathering admissible in court. His promise of weekly reports with photos, video, and detailed documentation offered Zara a sense of control she hadn't felt in months. He introduced Rita Chin, a forensic accountant specializing in hidden assets. "If your husband is moving money around, she'll find it." The cost was high, but Zara's response was chillingly clear. "I don't care about the cost. My husband has been stealing from our joint accounts to fund his affair. I consider this an investment in my future financial security." This declaration wasn't just about money. It was about defining her boundaries, asserting her worth, and making a profound statement that she would not be taken advantage of. Leaving Tony's office, Zara felt lighter. She was taking action. Her next stop, the bank. She opened a personal checking account, transferring half of their joint savings. Legally entitled to the money, she was protecting it before Derek could realize what she knew. This swift, decisive financial move is a common strategy advised by financial experts in contentious divorces. It secures assets that legally belong to both parties, preventing one spouse from unilaterally draining funds. Then she met Dr. Patricia Wells, a financial advisor specializing in helping women protect assets during divorce. Patricia, a sharp woman in her 50s, was impressed. Smart move coming in early. Most women wait until their husband has already moved the money. Patricia's review of Zara's documents revealed Derek's extensive financial deception. Transfers from their joint business account to a personal account Zara didn't know about. Investment purchases in his name only. "Is that legal?" Zara asked. "It's complicated," Patricia explained. "Since you're married and the business account is joint, he can make transfers. But if he's doing it to hide assets from you in preparation for divorce, that's fraud." Zara's chilling conclusion, "I think he's been planning this for a while," spurred Patricia to immediate action. Patricia's advice was transformative. "I want you to start your own business immediately. Transfer your skills and client contacts to a company that's entirely yours. If Derek tries to claim half of his business in the divorce, you'll have your own assets to protect." The idea ignited Zara. She had always harbored a dream of her own consulting firm. Derek's betrayal, ironically, became the catalyst for her long-deferred independence. "What kind of timeline are we talking about?" she asked. "Start immediately. File the papers this week. You can operate out of your home initially to keep costs low. The key is establishing your business before you file for divorce." This counsel from Patricia Wells is a powerful and often overlooked strategy. In a divorce, new assets or income streams established before filing can sometimes be considered separate property, rather than marital property subject to division. While legal specifics vary by jurisdiction, the underlying principle of establishing independent financial security is universally sound. It's not just about winning a divorce case. It's about ensuring a stable future. Zara left Patricia's office with a detailed action plan and a powerful sense of purpose. She was going to build a life entirely her own, independent of Derek. That evening, Derek came home, acting perfectly normal. He kissed her cheek, asked about her day, unaware of the silent storm brewing. "Nothing special," Zara said easily, "just some errands around town." When he announced he might work late again, a big project, Zara simply replied, Of course, I understand. They ate dinner like a normal couple, discussing their days, making small talk. Derek seemed relaxed, happy, his secret seemingly safe. He had no idea that while he was deceiving her, she was meticulously building a case against him that would systematically dismantle his comfortable double life. After dinner, Zara retreated to her home office, focusing on her business plan for Johnson Consulting LLC. She researched competitors, outlined services, and began reaching out to potential clients. By midnight, the foundation was laid. She would specialize in operations and financial management for small businesses, leveraging her contacts from Derek's own company. Just then, Tony's first report arrived. Derek and Brittany, lunch at a hotel restaurant, then upstairs to a booked room for 2 hours. The evidence was building, concrete and undeniable. Zara closed her laptop, a quiet smile on her face. 3 days ago, she was a betrayed wife. Now, she was a woman with a plan, a team of professionals, and a future entirely her own. Derek had no idea what was coming. This entire phase of setting up her business is a brilliant example of leveraging skills acquired in one context, supporting her husband's business, for her own empowerment. It highlights the importance of retaining and valuing one's own professional identity, even within a marriage. For many women, careers can take a back seat, or their contributions to a family business are not adequately recognized or financially compensated. Zara's story is a rallying cry for financial independence and self-actualization. 2 weeks into the investigation, the evidence mounted. Tony's reports confirmed Derek and Brittany met 3 times a week, always at expensive locations, always paid for with their joint credit card. The affair wasn't recent. It had spanned over 18 months. The photos were devastating. Passionate kisses, hand-holding, Derek treating Brittany like a devoted boyfriend, even looking at engagement rings in a jewelry store. Brittany's husband, Paul, remained oblivious. The deception ran deep, a tangled web of lies affecting multiple lives. But it was Rita Chin's financial investigation that truly shocked Zara. Derek had systematically moved nearly $200,000 out of their joint accounts for over a year, creating a separate financial life. He's been planning this for a long time, Rita explained. The timeline matches the affair. He started moving significant amounts right around the time the relationship with Brittany began. Every major transfer corresponded with a gift to Brittany or an expensive date. Derek had literally stolen from his wife to fund his mistress. "What can I do about it?" Zara asked. "In the divorce, you can claim he dissipated marital assets. The court will make him account for every dollar and likely award you compensation." This legal term, dissipation of marital assets, refers to one spouse wasting marital funds, usually on an affair or gambling, before or during a divorce. It's a critical legal principle that helps protect the wronged spouse. Zara, following Patricia's advice, had already registered Johnson Consulting and secured her first 3 clients. The work was fulfilling, profitable, and offered a powerful counter-narrative to her crumbling personal life. She meticulously documented Derek's late nights, his lies, the changes in their intimacy, hiding a detailed journal in her office. Pretending everything was normal at home was emotionally draining. Derek continued his facade of the loving husband, offering flowers, suggesting vacations, oblivious to the fact that every gesture felt like another layer of his carefully constructed deceit. "You seem stressed lately," he remarked one evening, suggesting she revisit her therapist, Dr. Peterson. The irony was almost too much to bear. "I'm fine," she replied calmly, "just busy with some new projects." When she mentioned starting her own business, she observed a flash of something in his eyes. Concern? Irritation? His dismissive, "we'll see," implied he still believed he held sway over her decisions, a sentiment that fueled her resolve even further. The next morning, Zara made her first call to her attorney, Rachel Kim. Derek's dismissive reaction to her business plans crystallized the need for immediate legal protection. Rachel, known for handling complex financial cases, had already been briefed by Tony. "I think your husband is in for a very unpleasant surprise," Rachel stated with a slight smile. "This is one of the most well-documented cases of marital misconduct I've seen. The affair, the financial deception, the dissipation of assets. You've built an airtight case." Rachel outlined the divorce process, the favorable settlement Zara could expect, and the advantage of her independent income stream. "When should I file?" Zara asked. "I want to catch him off guard," she declared without hesitation. "He's had 18 months to make different choices. I don't owe him a warning." Rachel approved. "Maximum impact, minimum opportunity for him to hide more assets." This legal strategy underscores a powerful truth. In cases of significant betrayal and financial misconduct, the element of surprise can be a potent tool. It prevents the deceitful spouse from further concealing assets or manipulating narratives. Zara's unwavering resolve to protect herself, rather than extend courtesy to a betrayer, speaks volumes about her self-worth and clear understanding of the situation. Zara left Rachel's office feeling powerful and confident, a stark contrast to the shattered woman of weeks prior. That evening, Derek arrived home with takeout from her favorite Thai restaurant and a small bouquet of flowers. The gesture might have been touching had Zara not seen the credit card statement showing he had taken Brittany to the same restaurant just 2 days earlier. She smiled, thanked him, and knew these would be some of the last flowers he would ever bring her. 2 more weeks and his meticulously constructed double life would come crashing down. Johnson Consulting was thriving beyond all expectations. What began as a defensive maneuver had blossomed into a genuine passion. Zara excelled at business strategy and financial planning, and helping small business owners solve complex problems reminded her of her inherent talents. Her client roster grew to 8 companies in just 6 weeks, word of mouth spreading rapidly. She had helped a struggling restaurant boost profit margins by 30%, streamlined a construction company's project management, and guided a tech startup through its first funding round. The best part? Derek was completely oblivious, assuming she was just keeping busy while she earned more per hour than he made at his own company. She even strategically acquired clients who partnered with Derek's firm, not to sabotage him, but to build her own credibility within his professional network. The lies became easier for Zara, a development that sometimes troubled her. But then she would remember Derek celebrating his anniversary with Brittany while she sat alone on her birthday, and her conscience would quiet. Tony's reports continued to paint a picture of total absorption in the affair. Almost daily meetings, long lunches, overnight trips. Derek spun tales of business conferences, while Brittany claimed sick relatives. The financial investigation unearthed even more hidden assets. Investment accounts, a Florida timeshare, even a small boat, all purchased with marital money Zara knew nothing about. Rita's summary was grim. "Your husband is either planning to leave you very soon, or he's planning to maintain this double life indefinitely. He's been building a separate financial foundation." The total hidden assets now approach $400,000, plus the boat, timeshare, and expensive jewelry for his girlfriend. Zara felt a mix of anger and strange gratitude. Derek's greed and deception were making her divorce case ironclad. Meanwhile, Johnson Consulting flourished. Zara hired a part-time assistant, secured liability insurance, and began looking at office space. The independence was intoxicating. She had something entirely her own, a success forged through her own skill and effort. Living with Derek, however, remained an emotional gauntlet. He continued his devoted husband charade, even suggesting a tropical vacation, showing her brochures. The casual cruelty of his deception was relentless. Zara agreed to look at options, knowing they would never take that trip. In less than a week, he would be served with divorce papers. His vacation planning was just another layer of his elaborate lie. The hardest moments were when Derek seemed genuinely affectionate. A hug from behind while she cooked, a compliment on a new dress. Were these moments real or just a performance? A fragment of the carefully compartmentalized life he led? Zara stopped trying to decipher it. It didn't matter anymore. Derek had made his choice. Now she was making hers. Then, Tuesday afternoon, a call that changed everything. Mrs. Johnson, this is Angela Martinez from Hartwell Industries. I got your name from Mike Harrison. We're looking for a consultant to help with a major restructuring project, and Mike said you were the best he'd ever worked with. Hartwell Industries, a massive regional corporation. Landing them would be a game changer. I'd be very interested, Zara replied professionally. Wonderful. Are you available for a meeting tomorrow at 2? Our CEO would like to meet with you personally. After hanging up, Zara sat in her office, overwhelmed by the magnitude of her transformation. 6 weeks ago, a betrayed wife. Financially entangled. Now, a successful business owner courted by major corporations. Derek had no idea that while he was planning his exit strategy with another woman, his wife was building an empire. Her phone buzzed. Derek, working late again tonight. Zara texted back, No problem, I'm working on a big project too. She wasn't lying. The biggest project of her life was nearing completion. The meeting with Travis Mitchell, CEO of Hartwell Industries, exceeded all expectations. Travis, an impressive man in his early 40s, was confident, genuinely interested in her ideas. He'd built Hartwell from a small family business into a powerhouse and understood the value of good consulting. Mike Harrison speaks very highly of you, he noted. He said you increased his efficiency by 40% in less than a month. Zara, ever modest, explained her process. They discussed Hartwell's challenges and her solutions for 2 hours. Travis was smart, employee-focused, and discerning. I'd like to offer you a 6-month contract, he concluded. Comprehensive operational review and restructuring recommendations. The fee we discussed is acceptable. The contract would pay more than she had made in the previous year combined. This project will require significant time investment, Travis cautioned. Are you sure you can handle it alongside your other clients? I'm very good at managing multiple projects, Zara assured him. Good, because I have a feeling this could lead to even bigger opportunities. We're considering some acquisitions next year, and we'll need consulting support throughout the process. As Zara drove home, she felt like she was living someone else's life. 8 weeks ago, her biggest worry was dinner menus and ironed shirts. Now, major corporate contracts and a business that could support her comfortably for years. Her phone rang. Rachel. The papers are ready. Derek will be served tomorrow at his office at 10 a.m. Are you prepared for his reaction? As prepared as anyone can be, Zara replied. Rachel's instructions were clear. Let calls go to voicemail, no discussions without her present, document everything. This is going to be unpleasant for a while, Rachel affirmed, but you're in an excellent position. The evidence is overwhelming and your new business shows you're not financially dependent on him. Zara sat in her car, taking a few minutes to brace herself. Tomorrow, Derek's comfortable double life would explode. He would finally realize his wife knew everything, had evidence of everything, and had been planning her own future while he thought her naive and trusting. That evening, Derek came home with Chinese takeout, unusually cheerful. He had closed a big deal with Morrison Industries. Zara congratulated him, thinking about the even bigger contract she had just landed. How's the consulting thing going? He asked absently, already scrolling through his phone. It's going well. I landed a significant client today. That's nice, he said, uninterested. His phone buzzed, a text from Brittany, no doubt. I might be out of town next week, he announced. Conference in Atlanta. Another lie. Tony had already revealed his mountain resort plans with Brittany. That sounds important, Zara said, marveling at his casual deception. It had become an art form. After dinner, Zara retreated to her office, putting the finishing touches on her project timeline for Hartwell. Complex business problems felt so much more manageable than complex personal situations. An email from Travis. Looking forward to working with you. I have a good feeling about this partnership. Partnership. The word resonated deeply. She was building genuine partnerships now, professional relationships based on mutual respect and shared goals. Not like her marriage, which had devolved into a one-sided arrangement of lies and exploitation. At midnight, Derek still wasn't home. His working late excuse was threadbare, but Zara didn't care. Tomorrow, the pretense would end. She went to bed alone, feeling a profound sense of hope. Tomorrow would be difficult, but it would also be the beginning of her real life, a life built on her own terms, with her own success, and eventually with someone who valued her. Derek had made his choice. Now he would live with the consequences. The morning Derek was served with divorce papers was exactly as Rachel had predicted. Zara's phone exploded with frantic texts. "What the hell is this? Call me now. You can't be serious about this. We need to talk immediately." She was in a client call with Hartwell Industries, discussing Q4 numbers and operational bottlenecks. Her phone buzzed continuously, but Zara kept it face down, completely present and professional. Derek would have to wait. After the call, she checked. 17 texts, 3 missed calls, 2 voicemails. His panic was palpable. Rachel called within minutes. "How are you holding up?" "Better than expected. Client meetings all morning helped." "Good. Derek's attorney called an hour ago wanting an emergency meeting. I told him we'd be available next week at the earliest." The process server reported Derek turned white, started shaking, and had to sit down. Grim satisfaction settled over Zara. Derek, who thought he was so clever, was now facing the brutal reality that his wife had known everything for months, had evidence, and had planned his downfall with meticulous precision. "Has he tried to contact you?" Rachel asked. "Constantly. I'm following your advice and not responding." "Perfect. Let him stew over the weekend. The uncertainty will make him more likely to negotiate reasonably." After hanging up, Zara read Derek's messages. The psychological progression was fascinating. From furious, "This is insane and you're being ridiculous," to panicked, "Please call me and we can work this out," to fearful, "Don't do this to us and think about what you're throwing away." What she was throwing away? The irony was breathtaking. Zara's afternoon was filled with productive work calls and business planning. Her practice was booming, and she was already considering hiring additional staff. The Hartwell contract alone demanded significant time, and 3 other major clients were expressing interest. It was liberating, she realized, to focus on work instead of the suffocating anxiety of her marriage. The constant low-level stress she had unknowingly carried for months had vanished. At 4 p.m., Derek showed up at the house, agitated, his clothes wrinkled, hair messy. Zara watched him from her office window. She decided to let him come to her. He pounded on the front door. "Zara, I know you're in there. We need to talk." She opened the door but didn't invite him in. "Hello, Derek." "What is this insanity?" He waved the divorce papers. "You filed for divorce without even talking to me." "We can discuss this through our attorneys," Zara said calmly. "Our attorneys?" "Zara, I'm your husband. We don't need attorneys to talk to each other." "Actually, we do," Zara corrected, her voice firm, "especially when one spouse has been lying to the other for over 18 months. Derek's face went pale. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about Brittany. I'm talking about Romano's restaurant. I'm talking about the $400,000 you've been hiding in secret accounts." Derek staggered back as if slapped. "How did you? When did you?" "I've known for months, Derek. I've been documenting everything. The affair, the financial deception, all of it. Zara, please let me explain. It's not what you think." "It's exactly what I think. You've been having an affair and stealing our money to pay for it. There's nothing to explain." Derek tried to push past her into the house, but Zara blocked the doorway. "This is my house, too," he said desperately. "And according to the restraining order, you're not allowed in it right now. Your personal items are packed in boxes in the garage. You can collect them any time." A restraining order. He was stunned. "Zara, I never hurt you." "Financial abuse is still abuse, Derek. Taking $400,000 of marital assets to fund your affair constitutes economic domestic violence." Derek's shoulders sagged as the reality of his situation crashed down. "Where am I supposed to go?" "I suggest you call Brittany. I'm sure she'll be happy to help you figure that out." "It's over with her," he said quickly. "I ended it today. As soon as I got these papers, I realized what I was throwing away. Zara almost laughed. You ended an 18-month affair this morning because you got served with divorce papers? How romantic. I love you, Zara. I made a terrible mistake, but I love you. No, Derek. You love the life I helped you build. You love having a wife at home while you played house with your girlfriend. But you don't love me. If you loved me, you never would have done this. Derek resorted to pleading, apologizing, promising counseling. When none of it worked, his anger resurfaced. You'll never find anyone else. You think you're so smart, but you're just a bitter woman who's throwing away a good marriage over a mistake. A mistake? Zara's composure finally cracked, a flash of righteous anger. An 18-month affair is not a mistake. Stealing $400,000 is not a mistake. Celebrating your anniversary with another woman while I sat alone on my birthday is not a mistake. Those were choices, Derek. Deliberate, selfish choices. Derek seemed to realize he had gone too far. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm just upset. Goodbye, Derek. Any further communication goes through Rachel Kim. She closed the door and locked it, leaving him sitting on the front steps, his head in his hands. For a moment, Zara almost felt sorry for him. Then she remembered the photos of him and Brittany looking at engagement rings, and her sympathy evaporated. Derek had made his choices. Now he would live with the consequences. This confrontation scene is pivotal, showcasing Zara's complete transformation. No longer the naive wife, she is a woman in full command, armed with facts and legal backing. The revelation of the restraining order for economic domestic violence is particularly powerful, reframing financial deception not just as a marital dispute, but as a form of abuse. This highlights an often overlooked aspect of infidelity, the profound financial implications and the legal recourse available to the wronged party. It underscores that abuse isn't just physical, it can be emotional, psychological, and financial, systematically eroding a person's well-being and security. The next morning, Zara deleted Derek's frantic messages without reading most of them. She had a breakfast meeting with Travis Mitchell and wanted to be composed and professional. The meeting went exceptionally well. Travis was impressed with her thoroughness and insight. "You've identified problems we didn't even know we had," he praised. "How soon can you start implementing these changes?" "Next week," Zara replied. "The shipping department restructure should show results within 30 days. Excellent. I have to say, Zara, working with you has been one of the best business decisions I've made in years." Their professional relationship was based on mutual respect, a refreshing change. Driving home, Zara felt her confidence blooming. Taking control of her life, building her business, working with clients who valued her skills, it had all reminded her of the capable woman she was before Derek had dimmed her light. Her phone rang. Tony. "I've got some interesting news," he said. Derek and Brittany had a very public screaming match in a parking lot. Derek was trying to end it. Brittany was not happy, accusing him of using her. "Trouble in paradise," Zara said dryly. "It gets better," Tony continued. Brittany showed up at Derek's office, making a scene, demanding to know why he was abandoning her for that woman, meaning Zara. Security had to escort her out. Derek spent the night in a hotel, calling Brittany constantly, but she wasn't answering. "I think he's realized that ending an affair is more complicated than he thought," Tony mused. "Especially when the other woman thought she was his future wife," Zara added. Derek looked terrible, sleepless, barely eating. The reality of his situation was hitting him hard. Zara felt a complex mix of emotions: satisfaction that he was facing consequences, sadness for their lost marriage, and immense relief that she no longer had to pretend. The house was peaceful without him. She made herself lunch, worked in her garden, organized her business files. Simple, normal activities that felt like a luxurious freedom after months of walking on eggshells. Rachel called that evening. Derek's attorney wanted a meeting, requesting all financial records and evidence. They're focused on trying to negotiate a quick settlement, probably assuming you have limited evidence and will accept less than you deserve. Rachel smiled. They underestimated me completely, which is perfect for our case. That weekend, Zara visited her sister Carmen, her closest confidant. You look different, Carmen observed, stronger somehow. I feel stronger, Zara admitted. I felt like I was losing myself in that marriage, and I didn't even realize it until I started taking back control. Carmen, who had never liked Derek, confessed, Luis always said there was something fake about him. Why didn't you tell me? Zara asked. Would you have listened? You were so determined to make it work, and honestly, I hoped I was wrong. They talked for hours about Zara's business, her future, and her complicated feelings about the divorce. Do you miss him? Carmen asked. I miss who I thought he was, Zara replied. I miss the marriage I thought we had, but the real Derek, the one who could look me in the eye and lie for months while stealing our money. Oh, I don't miss him at all. Good, Carmen said firmly. You deserve so much better. Driving home, Zara felt at peace. She was done. The man she married either never existed or had disappeared long ago. She was ready to build a life entirely her own. This conversation with Carmen highlights the importance of a strong support system. Friends and family, even if they can't directly intervene, offer emotional validation and a safe space to process trauma. Carmen's honest assessment of Derek, delayed by her desire not to hurt Zara, is a common dynamic in relationships where one partner is being deceived. It's a reminder that sometimes the people who love us most see the red flags before we do. The mediation meeting took place the following Tuesday. Zara arrived dressed in her best business suit, radiating confidence. Derek looked terrible, pale, thin, dark circles under his eyes. He couldn't meet her gaze. Rachel opened a thick folder. Let's begin with the evidence. For 2 hours, they methodically presented Tony's surveillance reports, Rita's financial analysis, all of Zara's compiled documentation, photos of Derek and Brittany, bank statements showing hidden transfers, credit card bills for their romantic getaways. Derek's attorney, Robert Chin, looked increasingly uncomfortable. This is quite comprehensive, Robert finally conceded. We'll need time to review everything and respond. Rachel clarified their position. Derek has dissipated nearly $400,000 in marital assets to fund his affair. He has systematically deceived his wife and hidden assets in preparation for divorce. This is not a case where we'll be negotiating a 50-50 split. Derek finally looked up. Zara, please, can we talk privately? Any communication goes through counsel, Rachel interjected. But she's my wife. She's your estranged wife who filed for divorce due to your adultery and financial misconduct, Rachel corrected. And she has a restraining order against you. Robert whispered urgently to Derek, then requested a recess. How do you think it went? Zara asked Rachel. Better than I expected. Derek's attorney clearly didn't know about most of this evidence. They came in thinking this would be a standard divorce negotiation. Now they know they're dealing with fraud, adultery, and dissipation of assets, Rachel assured her. You're in such a strong position that we can probably get everything you want. The mediation confirmed the power of Zara's meticulous preparation. Derek and his attorney were blindsided, demonstrating the effectiveness of her strategic approach. This also serves as a potent reminder of the importance of choosing the right legal team, one that is not only competent, but also understands the intricacies of financial forensics and strategic negotiation. A good attorney can turn seemingly insurmountable odds into a position of strength, especially when backed by irrefutable evidence. Meanwhile, Tony continued to document Derek's unraveling. Brittany had been fired. Her husband Paul filed for divorce and kicked her out. She was calling Derek constantly, demanding his help. Derek, staying in an extended stay hotel, was rapidly burning through his hidden assets. The boat was repossessed, the timeshare company threatening legal action. It's like watching a house of cards collapse, Tony reported to Zara. Derek built this elaborate double life, but it was completely unsustainable once exposed. Zara's business, in stark contrast, was thriving. The Hartwell Industries project was ahead of schedule, exceeding expectations. Travis was already discussing additional contracts for the following year. "You've transformed our operations," he praised. "Productivity is up 25%. Customer complaints are down 60%. The board is talking about offering you a long-term consulting contract." "I'd be very interested in that," Zara replied. "Good, because I think we could keep you busy for years." Working with Travis and his team was professionally satisfying, built on expertise, respect, and tangible results. More than that, she was building something entirely her own. Johnson Consulting now had 12 clients, 3 part-time employees, and a waiting list. 2 weeks after mediation, Derek called her directly, violating the restraining order. "Zara, please, just 5 minutes. I'm losing everything." "You should have thought about that before you decided to steal from me and cheat on me," she replied calmly. "I know I made mistakes, but this is destroying me. I lost my business. Brittany won't stop calling me. I can't afford the hotel much longer." "That sounds like a you problem, Derek. How can you be so cold?" "We were married for 7 years, and for 18 months of that marriage, you were planning your exit strategy with another woman. You made your choice, Derek. I'm just making mine." She hung up and immediately reported the violation to Rachel, who advised filing a police report. He needed to understand the consequences of ignoring court orders. That evening, working in her home office, Zara reflected on her journey. 6 months ago, a betrayed wife with no real independence. Now a successful businesswoman with a bright future and complete control over her life. Derek had thought he was so clever, maintaining his affair while keeping his comfortable home life. Instead, he had unwittingly given Zara the motivation to build something far better than anything they had ever shared. His loss was truly her gain. 1 year after that devastating birthday dinner at Romano's, Zara sat at the very same restaurant. This time, however, it was a table for 4. Travis was across from her, and Carmen and Luis completed their double date. The conversation was easy, the laughter genuine, the evening a true celebration. "Happy birthday, Zara," Travis said, raising his glass, "to the most remarkable woman I know." She smiled, touching her glass to his. "Thank you. This is so much better than last year." Carmen nudged her. "Tell them about the Forbes article." "What Forbes article?" Travis asked with interest. "It's nothing major," Zara demurred. "Just a small piece about successful women entrepreneurs. Johnson Consulting was featured in a story about the fastest-growing small businesses in the region," Carmen explained proudly. "My sister is famous." Travis grinned. "I'm dating a celebrity and didn't even know it." Dating. The word still felt new, wonderful. Zara and Travis had been seeing each other for 3 months, after a year of working together. Their relationship had blossomed naturally from mutual respect and shared interests into something deeper, more meaningful. Travis was everything Derek hadn't been. Honest, supportive, genuinely interested in her success, celebrating her achievements rather than feeling threatened by them. He was proud to be with a successful woman. "Speaking of success," Travis said, "I have news. The board approved the 3-year consulting contract we discussed. Johnson Consulting is now Hartwell Industries' official strategic partner." Zara felt a thrill of excitement. The contract was worth more than Derek had made in his best year. "That's incredible," she said. "Thank you for believing in me." "You earned it. We're just lucky to work with the best." After dinner, Travis walked Zara to her car. The night was warm and clear. "I have something for you," he said, pulling a small wrapped box from his jacket. Zara's heart jumped, then settled when she saw it was too large for a ring. She wasn't ready for that step yet, and Travis respected her timeline completely. Inside was a beautiful silver bracelet with a small charm in the shape of a key. "The key to your success," Travis said as he fastened it around her wrist. "Though honestly, you never needed anyone to unlock your potential. You just needed the freedom to use it." Zara kissed him softly. "I love it, and I love that you understand me." "I love you too," he said simply. It was the first time either of them had said it, and the words felt perfect in the warm evening air. On her drive home, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. She waited until she was parked in her driveway to check it. "Zara, it's Derek. I know I'm not supposed to contact you, but I wanted you to know I'm sorry. Really sorry. I see now what I threw away. If there's any chance..." She deleted the message without reading the rest. Derek had been trying to contact her periodically for months, despite the restraining order. He had lost his business, his house, most of his friends. Brittany had moved across the country after her own divorce, leaving him completely alone with the consequences of his choices. Zara felt no satisfaction in his downfall, but no sympathy either. Derek had destroyed their marriage through his own selfish decisions. The fact that his choices had also destroyed his life was unfortunate, but inevitable. She had heard through mutual acquaintances that he was now working for someone else, making a fraction of his former income, living in a small apartment, driving an old car. His comfortable life had evaporated along with his marriage. Meanwhile, Zara's life had flourished beyond her wildest expectations. Johnson Consulting employed 8 people and had a waiting list. She had purchased a beautiful townhouse in the best part of the city and was considering buying a vacation home in the mountains. More importantly, she had rediscovered herself. The confident, capable woman she had been before Derek had dimmed her light was back, brighter than ever. As she unlocked her front door, Zara thought about the journey from that devastating birthday dinner to this perfect birthday celebration. The pain had been real and deep, but it had led her to a life that was authentically her own. Her phone rang as she was getting ready for bed. It was Carmen. "Did you have a good time tonight?" her sister asked. "The best. Thank you for suggesting the double date. Travis is wonderful." "Zara, he looks at you the way Luis looks at me. I know it's scary and wonderful at the same time. Are you happy?" Carmen asked. "Seriously?" Zara considered the question. A year ago, she would have said she was happy, but it would have been the happiness of someone who didn't know what she was missing. Now she understood the difference between contentment and joy, between settling and thriving. "I'm really, truly happy," she said. "For the first time in years, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." After hanging up, Zara looked around her beautiful townhouse. Every piece of furniture, every decoration, every detail had been chosen by her alone. It was a home that reflected her taste, her personality, her success. Tomorrow, she would go to her office and work with her team on projects that challenged and excited her. She would build something meaningful and lasting, brick by brick, decision by decision. And someday, when she was ready, she might even share this life with someone who truly deserved to be part of it. Derek had thought he was trading up when he chose Brittany over their marriage. Instead, he had freed Zara to become the woman she was always meant to be. As she turned off the lights and headed to bed, Zara smiled. The best revenge truly was living well, and she was living very well indeed. The journey of Zara from betrayal to triumph offers profound lessons for all of us. First, trust your intuition. Those subtle feelings of unease, those whispers of doubt, are often our inner compass guiding us through complex situations. Ignoring them can lead to prolonged pain, while heeding them can be the first step towards clarity. Second, invest in your financial independence and literacy. Zara's ability to understand bank statements and identify financial misconduct was her bedrock. In any relationship, especially long-term ones, maintaining an awareness of shared finances is not a sign of distrust, but of responsible self-protection. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your economic well-being. Third, adhere to documentation and legal preparation. In moments of crisis, particularly those involving betrayal, emotions can run high. But as Zara demonstrated, a methodical, evidence-based approach can be your most powerful asset. Documenting everything, from text messages to financial transactions, can make an insurmountable difference in protecting your rights and ensuring a just outcome. It's not about being vindictive, it's about justice and self-preservation. Fourth, adversity can be a powerful catalyst for growth. Derek's betrayal was devastating, but it forced Zara to confront her life, her choices, and her dormant ambitions. It pushed her out of a comfortable but ultimately limiting existence and into a path of self-discovery and entrepreneurial success she might never have pursued otherwise. This isn't to say that betrayal is a good thing, but rather that our response to it can define our future. We have the power to transform profound pain into potent purpose. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the best revenge is truly living well. Zara didn't seek to merely punish Derek. She focused on building a life that was rich, fulfilling, and authentically her own. Her success wasn't measured by Derek's downfall, but by her own achievements, her genuine relationships, and her rediscovered sense of self-worth. It's about cultivating inner peace, achieving personal and professional goals, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift and value you. This kind of living well transcends material wealth. It encompasses emotional well-being, intellectual stimulation, and deep, meaningful connections. It's a testament to the human spirit's capacity for resilience, for turning ashes into blossoms, and for forging a future brighter than anything imagined before the storm. Zara's story is a beacon of hope, reminding us that even in the darkest moments, we hold the key to unlocking our own incredible potential and designing a life truly worth living.